Okay, we've got this fascinating stack of sources. You've shared research articles, your own notes, and they raise this fundamental question, don't they?
Mhm.
Why do some people just seem to sail through their 70s, 80s, even 90s, full of energy, sharp as a tack, totally independent,
Yeah.
while others seem to decline much earlier? What is actually going on there?
It's the big mystery, isn't it? And it's so easy to just shrug and say, oh, they got lucky, or good genes, or maybe there's some, secret magic potion involved.
Right.
But what really jumped out from this material is that the sources pushed back hard against that idea. They say it's not luck.
Right. The research we dove into, pulling from places like Harvard and the National Institute on Aging,
Yeah.
really zeroes in on something far more practical, far more within our control.
Yeah.
These sources highlight simple, scientifically backed habits that they argue can dramatically change how you experience aging physically, mentally, emotionally.
And they aren't just feel-good tips. The material frames these as evidence-backed strategies, things that directly support maintaining independence, boosting energy levels, and preserving that sense of joy and purpose as the years go by.
Exactly.
A key insight threaded through these sources is that putting these habits into practice makes the biggest difference before serious issues manifest. It's about building resilience.
Exactly. Think of it as building a really strong foundation for your future self. And the sources you provided kept coming back to 6 specific, what they call golden habits or powerful steps.
Practical, doable things.
Practical, doable things that collectively make an incredible difference. Let's start with the first one they repeatedly emphasize as perhaps the most accessible.
Yes, the material strongly suggests that the simplest, most powerful natural tool you have against aging is daily walking.
This sounds almost too basic.
It might sound almost too basic, right? But the sources champion it because it's low impact, accessible to almost everyone regardless of current fitness level, and doesn't require special equipment or a gym membership.
And what the sources detail about why it's so powerful is compelling. Every single step you take sends positive signals throughout your body.
Right. Your heart strengthens, your lungs work more efficiently, your joints get necessary movement instead of stiffening up. Did you see the Harvard Medical School finding they cited?
I did. It was striking. Walking for just 30 minutes a day can lower your risk of heart disease by up to 40%.
40%. Think about that, a 40% reduction just from consistent movement.
Wow.
It directly improves circulation, helps manage blood pressure, and boosts vital oxygen flow. It reinforces the body's intended state of, being in motion.
But it wasn't just the physical. What really caught my eye was the emphasis on the mental benefits,
Oh, absolutely.
which some sources even suggested might be more significant in the long run.
Yeah, more oxygen to the brain means clearer thinking, sharper memory, better cognitive function. And the sources highlighted its incredible power as a mood enhancer.
That makes sense. Life gets hard sometimes.
Absolutely. Navigating life, especially as you get older, comes with its challenges, and walking serves as a natural stress reliever. That Stanford University study mentioned in the material found that walking can increase creative thinking by as much as 60%.
60%, just from walking.
Apparently so. There's something about the rhythm of steps, the fresh air, even just the change of scenery that helps clear the mind.
This feels so real in the anecdotes the sources included, like Raymond, the 73-year-old retired mechanic from Ohio.
Right, I remember that one.
He was having trouble with stairs, felt his mind slowing down. His doctor suggested starting with just 10 minutes of walking a day.
Just 10 minutes.
And 2 years later, he's walking 2 miles daily, no cane, no back pain, his energy is back. He felt like he'd added a decade to his life simply by starting to walk.
It underscores that it's not about elite performance, it's about reclaiming movement as fundamental to independence and well-being. Movement is literally medicine, as the sources put it.
And the actionable takeaway here is critical. You don't need to aim for a marathon. Start tiny.
5 minutes around the block, pacing while you're on the phone, a slow stroll after a meal. Every step counts. The sources stressed that consistency is far more powerful than intensity or speed when you're starting out.
Absolutely key.
The idea is you don't need to have a better body to begin. When you begin, you get a better body and life. It's an investment that pays dividends in freedom and energy.
That leads us directly into the second powerful habit identified in the sources, attention to diet.
Okay.
The way the material framed this was really impactful. Eat to live long, not to live fast. They make the case that food isn't just fuel, it's fundamentally information you're sending to your body.
Information. Interesting way to put it.
Instructing it to heal, protect, or unfortunately break down.
And what's alarming, according to the sources, is how many problems associated with aging actually originate on your plate.
Right. They noted that our nutritional needs don't decrease, and in some ways increase, as we get older, yet the path of least resistance is often convenience. Food processed meals, sugary snacks, fast food.
Which is everywhere. It is, and the research makes it clear. These processed foods aren't just empty calories. They're actively harmful, speeding up aging from the inside out.
How so?
They contribute to inflammation in joints, fog the mind, and exhaust your body's systems. The sources use strong language, saying they wreak havoc on health.
Wow. Okay, so the alternative.
Conversely, filling your plate with whole, nutrient-dense foods provides the body with the building blocks it needs. The sources explained this supports fighting inflammation, repairing cells constantly damaged by life, and keeping the immune system sharp.
So it's like building blocks for repair.
Exactly. It nourishes bones, protects the brain, and gives your body the necessary inputs to function optimally, leading to tangible feelings of strength, mental clarity, and physical freedom.
Did they give specific examples?
They did, and importantly, why. Colorful vegetables like spinach, kale, and collard greens were highlighted for their vitamin K content, which is crucial for maintaining bone strength as we age.
Okay, bone strength, got it.
Fatty fish like salmon and sardines are loaded with omega-3s, which the sources linked directly to protecting brain health. Whole grains like oats and brown rice help keep blood sugar stable, avoiding damaging spikes.
Avoiding those energy crashes.
Right. Berries provide antioxidants to fight inflammation, while things like sweet potatoes and cucumbers were mentioned for hydration and rejuvenation.
It's hydration, right.
Lean proteins, think chicken, fish, beans, lentils, are essential for muscle repair and strength, tying back to that first habit of movement.
Good connection.
And healthy fats from avocados, nuts, and olive oil were called out for those anti-inflammatory omega-3s that support both heart and brain health.
They shared the story of Evelyn, 68, in Arkansas. Her diet was typical processed stuff, toast, deli meat, microwave dinners.
That's familiar for a lot of people.
Yeah. She felt constantly tired. Her blood pressure was creeping up. Her joints ached. Her doctor's wake-up call was blunt. She was feeding disease, not health.
Oof, direct.
Her change was simple but profound. She just started adding real, colorful vegetables to every meal.
Just adding them in, not taking much away initially.
Seems like it. Spinach with her breakfast, roasted carrots for lunch, a generous salad at dinner, and within 6 months, she'd lost 15 pounds, her cholesterol dropped significantly, and that persistent mental fog lifted. She wasn't dieting in the traditional sense. She was just returning to whole, unprocessed food.
That's powerful, just going back to basics.
And let's not overlook hydration, another key point in the sources.
Right, water.
Our sense of thirst diminishes as we get older, but the body's need for water doesn't. It's essential for temperature regulation, transporting nutrients, and flushing out toxins.
So important and easy to forget.
The advice was simple. Swap sugary drinks and soda for water and herbal tea.
Makes sense. And the link between diet and cognitive function was also reinforced by that study published in Neurology.
Oh, yeah.
Which found seniors following a Mediterranean-style diet had a 30% lower risk of cognitive decline.
30% lower risk. So it's not just about physical health, it's foundational for mental sharpness, too.
Absolutely. What this section of the sources really emphasizes is that paying attention to what you eat is one of the most powerful forms of preventative care you have 3 times a day.
Preventative care on your fork. I like that.
It's not about severe restriction, but about making intentional choices. Every mindful bite is a step towards a future life that doesn't just last longer, but feels genuinely better.
It makes you think about what's in your fridge. Is it building the future you want?
Good question.
Yeah.
Shifting focus now to the third habit the sources dug into, keeping your mind fit.
Okay, the mental side.
The material was very clear. Maintaining mental sharpness is absolutely as non-negotiable as physical strength. They argued that mental decline isn't just an automatic consequence of age, but often the result of simply not using your brain actively enough.
That makes sense, like a muscle, right? Use it or lose it, kind of.
Exactly. The brain needs regular exercise to stay sharp, alert, and capable. The sources showed how actively engaging your mind helps preserve clarity, improves problem-solving abilities, and can significantly potentially delay the onset or progression of conditions like dementia and Alzheimer's.
So what kind of activities are we talking about?
They outlined several key activities supported by the research. Reading was high on the list, incredibly simple, yet profoundly impactful.
Just reading anything.
Whether it's a novel, a newspaper, a recipe, or online articles, the act of processing information, retaining details, stimulating imagination, it directly sharpens concentration and strengthens memory. It's often described as resistance training for your memory function.
Like lifting weights for the brain.
And puzzles and games. Crosswords, Sudoku, logic puzzles, chess. The sources highlighted how these activities challenge your problem-solving skills, force the brain to adapt to new patterns, and improve cognitive flexibility.
Yeah, those can be fun too.
And studies from places like the University of Exeter and King's College London show that regular puzzlers have measurably better short-term memory and processing speed.
Astronomically better, okay.
Learning something new was another powerful theme. Taking up painting, a musical instrument, a new language, or even mastering new digital tools.
Pushing the comfort zone.
Exactly. The research indicates that pushing your mind beyond its comfort zone builds entirely new neural pathways and further strengthens memory and concentration. Continuous learners, according to the sources, were notably less likely to experience cognitive decline. The brain absolutely thrives on novelty and challenge.
And what really stood out was the emphasis on an activity that many might not immediately think of as brain exercise.
Which was?
Conversation and social interaction.
Ah, yes. So important.
Engaging with others forces your brain to listen actively, formulate responses, and adapt in real time. Sharing stories, debating ideas, even just chit-chatting, it's incredibly dynamic brain work.
Yeah, you have to think on your feet.
Right. The Mayo Clinic research mentioned showed socially active seniors had significantly slower rates of cognitive decline. Plus, it provides that essential emotional fulfillment.
We saw this in the story of Martha, 70, from Minnesota. After retiring, she noticed she was becoming forgetful, which understandably scared her.
Yeah, that would be scary.
She decided to act. She started reading every morning, doing word games on her tablet, and signed up for a beginner Spanish class.
Taking action. Good for her.
She said it felt like her mind woke up again. She felt more alert, more present in her daily life, and was genuinely enjoying the mental challenge.
The message from the sources is clear. Mental fitness isn't something you hope for. It's something you actively build.
You build it, right.
And it doesn't require huge blocks of time. Small, consistent choices, even 15 minutes of reading, a few puzzles during a coffee break, or making a meaningful phone call add up.
And the key seems to be finding activities you genuinely enjoy.
Yes, that makes it sustainable. This effort isn't just about function. It's about holding on to your sense of self, your identity. Your mind holds your story, and the sources show it's absolutely worth protecting and actively feeding.
Well said. That brings us to the fourth habit, which the sources called one of the most powerful yet vastly underrated ways to maintain independence, vitality, and resilience. Strength training.
Strength training. Okay, now this one might intimidate some people.
It's easy to think strength training is only for young athletes or bodybuilders, but the sources really hammered home that becomes essential, perhaps most essential, as you age for preserving mobility, protecting your bones, and maintaining fundamental physical strength.
Why more essential as you age?
They introduced the concept of sarcopenia, that gradual involuntary loss of muscle mass and strength that begins in our 40s and unfortunately accelerates significantly after 60.
Sarcopenia. Okay.
This is what makes simple tasks that were once effortless, like standing up from a chair or climbing stairs, become progressively harder.
Right, things you take for granted.
Exactly. But the incredibly good news from the material is that strength training isn't just about slowing this loss. It can actually stop or even reverse it.
Reverse it, really?
Yes. Your muscles are, in many ways, your physical independence. When muscle fades, everything takes more effort. Everything feels heavier.
So what are the specific benefits they outlined?
The benefits detailed are compelling. It directly maintains muscle mass, keeping you active and independent longer. Critically, it dramatically improves balance and stability.
Crucial for preventing falls.
Which the sources noted is a major factor in reducing fall risk, a leading cause of serious injury for those over 65. And the National Institute on Aging's recommendation, cited here, is twice-a-week strength training specifically to boost bone density, helping combat osteoporosis.
Twice a week. Okay. We heard the story of Alan, 74, a retired postman from North Carolina.
Yeah, postman.
After a mild fall, his doctor warned him that muscle loss was making him vulnerable to future injuries. He started slowly, just 5 minutes a day.
Just 5 minutes again, starting small.
Doing wall push-ups, using light dumbbells for curls, and practicing short squats using a chair for balance.
And after just 3 months, the change was significant. He felt noticeably steadier, stronger. He could get out of his recliner without bracing himself, something he hadn't been able to do easily for a while.
Wow, that's a concrete improvement.
He admitted he hadn't expected such a difference from such a simple start.
This habit really connects to the emotional side of aging, too. The sources noted that feeling physically weak can lead to hesitation, avoidance of activities, and a shrinking world.
Yeah, you start limiting yourself.
Exactly. Strength training gives back control and confidence. It can genuinely make you feel younger because your posture improves, your movements become steadier, your body feels more capable and alive.
It reminds you that you are not passively fading. You are actively rebuilding your physical capability.
So the practical advice, again, start small.
The practical advice here echoes the other habits. Start small and be consistent. You absolutely don't need a fancy gym. Bodyweight exercises are powerful squats using a chair, arm curls with cans of soup or water bottles, wall planks.
Things you can do at home.
Absolutely. Even 10-15 minutes consistently can make a profound difference. Make strength a non-negotiable appointment with yourself.
Not for vanity, but for freedom.
The sources frame it not as being for appearance, but as being for your freedom. Inactivity is actively taking away your strength. Your body is waiting for your signal to fight for it.
Okay. Powerful stuff. Moving to the fifth habit.
Yes. One the source is described with phrases like the overlooked medicine and the most powerful form of healing no one talks about, social connection.
Connection. So important.
They emphasize this isn't just a pleasant addition to life, it's fundamental to survival and well-being, especially as we age.
And they didn't pull punches detailing the dangers of social isolation and loneliness.
No, they didn't. They stressed it's not just a feeling of sadness, it's a biological stressor. The research cited, including that from Perspectives on Psychological Science,
What did that show?
showed chronic loneliness increases the risk of early death by a staggering 26%, comparable, they noted, to smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
Wow. 26% increase. That's huge. Like smoking.
It is. The body reacts negatively to isolation. The sources explained it raises inflammation levels, weakens the immune system, and speeds up cognitive decline.
So it has real physical effects.
Absolutely. Your body, brain, and heart register loneliness and respond with detrimental stress signals.
Right.
This can be a particular challenge that creeps in after retirement, the loss of a partner, or when children move away.
Yeah, life changes happen.
But the flip side, the power of nurturing strong social ties, is immense according to the material. People who maintain genuine connections live longer, stay mentally sharper, and report being significantly happier and more fulfilled.
So connection is protective.
Connection expands your world, brings in light, lifts your spirits, and strengthens both your physical and mental well-being. It grounds you and reinforces that fundamental human need to belong.
What about the specific mechanisms?
The research highlighted the physical and mental benefits. Face-to-face interaction, for instance, prompts the release of oxytocin, the bonding hormone,
Oxytocin.
which lowers stress and boosts mood. It gives your immune system a lift and helps stabilize heart rate. Mentally, your mind feels sharper, more alive when actively engaging with others.
And the sources pointed out that socially active seniors are far less likely to develop dementia or depression.
Right. Think of it as dynamic exercise for the brain, constantly keeping it active and agile.
We heard about Carolyn, 76, a widow in Arizona.
Yes, Carolyn.
After her husband passed and her kids had their own lives elsewhere, she spent most days alone at home, telling herself she was fine. But she found sleep became harder, her blood pressure rose, her memory seemed fuzzier.
The isolation was taking a toll.
Everything shifted when she joined a local book club. The weekly conversations, the shared laughter, having a regular reason to leave the house and look forward to something.
A reason to connect.
She later admitted she hadn't realized how profoundly she missed something as simple as hearing someone say her name.
Wow, that's powerful. And the story of Margaret, 82.
Right, Margaret. Similar situation, lost her husband, withdrew completely.
Days turned into weeks of pure solitude. The turning point came when she decided, with encouragement, to visit a local community center. She started volunteering, participating in group discussions.
And that helped.
This didn't just fill her time. It reignited her joy, led to new friendships, and deepened her sense of purpose. The sources emphasized it is truly never too late to reconnect.
Never too late. That's hopeful. So the actionable advice.
The actionable advice here is clear. You have to take action. Loneliness doesn't often fix itself. It can start small, a phone call to a friend you haven't spoken to in a while, a short walk with a neighbor, volunteering for a cause you care about, joining a local club or group.
Using technology, too.
Technology can be a bridge, phone calls, video chats, online communities, though face-to-face was highlighted as uniquely powerful. You don't need a massive social circle. The sources suggested that even one or two genuinely caring, consistent connections can make all the difference.
Just one or two real connections.
You are not meant to go through this stage of life in isolation. Reaching out, reconnecting, building these ties, your heart, your brain, and your future self will profoundly thank you.
This isn't just about avoiding the negative. It's about enriching your life, filling it with joy and companionship.
Exactly. Finally, the sixth powerful habit detailed in the sources, and one they described as perhaps the most important habit that far too many people neglect: deep sleep.
Sleep, yes.
Crucial, they called it the secret ingredient for vitality, and one of the most powerful longevity tips.
It's easy to think of sleep as just downtime or a luxury, but the material was insistent. It's your body's nightly repair shop, an absolute necessity for health and longevity.
Right. They acknowledged that while the ability to fall or stay asleep might change with age,
Which happens for many people.
the need for sleep, that crucial 7-9 hours, does not decrease.
So we still need that much sleep, even if it's harder to get.
That's what the sources strongly suggest. And they laid out the significant dangers of chronic poor sleep. It's not just about feeling tired.
What else?
It clouds memory and judgment, throws off vital hormone balance, weakens the immune system, and chips away at your mood, focus, and healing capacity. Over time, it contributes to increased stress, higher blood pressure, accelerated cognitive decline, and yes, a shorter lifespan.
That's a heavy list.
It is. This is because during deep sleep, your body is working overtime. It repairs tissues, your immune system does critical surveillance and strengthening, and memories get consolidated.
So lots happening while we're out.
Crucially, the sources highlighted how the brain uses sleep to clear out metabolic waste and toxins, like the beta amyloid plaques, those sticky protein fragments linked to dementia.
The brain's cleaning crew works at night.
It's literally cleaning house. Good sleep also regulates cortisol, the stress hormone, and helps keep insulin balanced.
We heard the story of Michael, 67, from Colorado.
Michael, right, waking up multiple times a night.
Yeah. He'd been waking up 3 or 4 times a night for years, and the pills he tried left him groggy the next day. He decided to fundamentally change his nighttime routine based on advice from the sources.
What did he change?
No screens after 8 p.m., incorporating gentle stretching before bed, and establishing a consistent bedtime.
Simple changes, relatively speaking.
The impact went far beyond just sleeping better. He started thinking clearer during the day, his blood pressure began to drop, and he had consistent energy again. He realized how much poor sleep had been holding him back.
Amazing what good sleep can do. Good sleep fundamentally allows your body to heal, recharge, and prepare for the demands of the next day. It's like hitting a reset button for your mind and body every single night.
So practical tips. The sources must have offered some.
They did. First, create a relaxing nighttime routine. Dim the lights an hour or so before bed, and critically, avoid screens, phones, tablets, TVs as their light disrupts melatonin production. Try reading something calm or practicing a simple meditation.
Okay, wind down time. No blue light.
Second, aim for a consistent sleep schedule. Going to bed and waking up at roughly the same time, even on weekends, helps train your body's internal clock.
Even weekends. That's tough.
Trains the clock. Your bedroom environment matters too.
Mm-hmm.
Make it cool, dark, and quiet.
Cave-like. Got it.
Also, avoid caffeine and heavy meals late in the evening. Try to cut off liquids a couple of hours before bed if nighttime bathroom trips are an issue.
Practical.
If racing thoughts keep you awake, the sources suggested writing them down in a journal or listening to calming music or a podcast. Maybe not this one, perhaps something designed for sleep.
Right. The overarching message is to prioritize aiming for that 7 third 9 hours of quality sleep.
It sharpens your brain, elevates your mood, protects your heart, and provides the essential foundation you need to move, think, and thrive.
The sources frame it not as something to sacrifice when life gets busy, but as a fundamental gift you give yourself to stay sharp, steady, and strong.
So looking back at everything these sources laid out, these 6 habits: daily walking, paying attention to diet, keeping your mind fit, strength training, nurturing social connection, and prioritizing deep sleep.
Quite a list, but they all seem interconnected.
They really do. The core message that really emerged from this deep dive is incredibly empowering. Healthy, vibrant aging isn't some random lottery win based on luck or genetics. It is intentionally built, day by day, through simple, consistent, scientifically backed habits.
It's about choice.
It's about choosing to live with clarity, strength, and intention.
And the beautiful part is how accessible these habits are. They don't require perfect health to start. They don't require wealth. They don't require you to have gotten a head start years ago.
No special requirement.
They just require the willingness to begin wherever you are right now.
The sources reminded us that it's not simply age that makes you weaker or less vibrant. It's often the gradual disengagement from the very habits that kept you strong and engaged in the first place.
Giving up the habits that made you strong, that's insightful. These aren't just abstract concepts. They are daily choices for longevity, for building a life that feels worth living.
Exactly.
Not just a longer life, but a fuller, more thriving one. It's the difference between just existing and truly living.
So let's leave you with this provocative thought to consider and maybe explore on your own, drawn directly from the spirit of these sources. Of the 6 powerful habits we've discussed today, which one will you choose to start focusing on, making a conscious effort to build, beginning today?
Just one. Think about that choice.